Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Brenda Harvey, author of the Conspiracy series, and today we are going to be talking about creating book covers and an easy way you can DIY them, which is a way to save money, of course. But before we get into the video, please like and subscribe to my channel, and that's just going to make sure you keep up to date with everything that is coming out. Speaking of things that are coming out, you should be watching my website because that is where I have been announcing all the updates on my third book, The Killers, which is coming out next week, which is super exciting. So, if you want to read The Killers, you need to buy my other two books, The Conspiracy and The Lead. Those are the first two books in the trilogy, and if you try to read The Killers, it's not going to make any sense. So make sure you buy those. Those are linked in the description below and on my website. And make sure to leave any comments with questions you have for me or whatever. And yeah, let's get into the video. So a really easy way to save money on publishing your book is to make your cover yourself instead of hiring someone else. And this is super easy, and I made a video that came out last week talking about how I made the cover for The Killers, and I'll link that up there. When you are making your cover, you need to distinguish it. You need to make sure it looks different from other covers, because if there are two books with very similar covers, a reader might get those two books mixed up, and if they read one book, then they might think they read this other book that has a very similar cover, which is the same with titles, and I did make another video on that, and that is linked up there and in the description box. And another thing you need to consider like a few things. For example, who are you targeting? So this is very common with like album covers, for example. Like, who are you targeting, what genre of music it is, etc., etc. For example, this is Taylor Swift's Speak Now album. This is the deluxe edition. By the way, re-records. Super excited, guys. So this is the Speak Now album cover. This is the deluxe edition. The regular edition, she's in a purple dress. But, so this is a country album targeted for teens, 20s, about. And just like, you can tell that from the cover. Does that make any sense? I hope it does. So with books, your genres are going to be different, obviously. You have more like fantasy, realistic fiction, etc. This is a historical fiction book. Oh, would you look at that? It won a John Newbery Medal. Cool. Anyway, this is a historical fiction book. It is not a teen book. It is like elementary school level, but it is pretty good. This is a historical fiction book, and you can tell that from the cover. So you can see your character, and you look at her dress, and that is a very historical looking dress. And then you have, way in the back here, you kind of have this outline of the house. And right here, you can't argue that that is electricity. But to me, it looks more like candlelight or firelight. This is a really good cover, actually. It gives you kind of a rough setting. This takes place around the time of the American Revolutionary War, just a little bit before that. You can see the tree line, so this house would be kind of in a forest. So this is a very nice cover for this book. You also need to consider your title, so going back to this book, this is where the title is. It fits right in here. Now your title can go across here, it can go like this, it can go across the middle, it can go down at the bottom, kind of wherever you want it to go. This is C.S. Lewis's Out of the Silent Planet. This is the title right here, and then you have his name up here. This is a science fiction book, with funny story behind it. C.S. Lewis wrote this to prove that he can write science fiction. Random facts. So you need to consider your title, the font of your title. That is very important. So the font here this is definitely science fiction-ish. You obviously need to consider the placement. So here versus down here versus across the middle here. You need to consider where your title is going to go when you are considering your book cover. You also need to look at if it is in a series. If you are creating a book series, then your cover should fit. I'm not sure where I put the first book in this series, but this is the Star of Del Toro series. So here are the covers. So we're just going to look at this one. So all three covers have this picture of the character. They have some kind of either like greenery or ocean water, like this one. The title is all in the same font. You have the title of the series, and then you have the title of the book. Every single one has some element of the ship. So here, the perspective, you are on the ship and you can see here little ropes, and then this one, obviously, you can see the ship itself. And another thing to think about is the colors. All of these are very cool colors, and they all fit in together. We can also look at the conspiracy series. So I don't currently have a copy of the conspiracy or the lead right now, but I will put the covers up on the screen. But all of the covers, they are matte black. They have roses in some form. The font is white now. I switched which photo editing software I use, so the conspiracy has a different font than the lead and the killers, but it's still all white. It has that element of rose. The conspiracy has the sword, and the lead and the killers have the blood, something just tying all of them together. Your title needs to be bold and it needs to be rememberable. I said title. Your cover needs to be bold and it needs to be rememberable. This is a very easy cover to remember. It's also very recognizable. So it needs to be something where people can say, yes, I have read that. Yes, I remember this. And if you go up and you're just like, oh, okay, I read this book at the library. I really want to give it as a gift to a friend, but I don't exactly remember the cover. I don't exactly remember the title. I remember the author. So then you type in the author's name. This is by Wendy Mass. Type in Wendy Mass and you see the cover and it's like, oh, the Candy Makers. This is what I want to give to my friend. And on that note, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you liked it. If you did, like and subscribe to my channel. Make sure to buy The Conspiracy and the Lead, and The Killers is coming out next week, so make sure to buy that when it comes out. Make sure to be watching my website. Again, that is where I made all of my announcements, so you were a little bit behind if you did not know about any of these. Make sure to leave any comments and questions you have for me, and I'll see you guys next week with another video. Bye. I found the first one, by the way, in case you were wondering. I think. And make sure it looks different from other covers. I can't talk today.